evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect, King of Games. And sit down, you little fucks. I am here to tell you guys another story. If you are here for a Yu-Gi-Oh video, then please go somewhere else. Click on another one of my videos that don't say the story of the TheCaliEffect or the TheCaliEffect answers your questions. These videos are for people that want to know the man behind the camera, Leon or Cali, whichever one you guys want to call me. So basically, this one's going to be talking about my horrible experience with fast food, working at McDonald's, and more importantly, the valuable lesson that I learned from working from that. So I'm gonna actually start off with a little bit of a prologue why I actually even got into this video. My brother-in-law just got a job at Burger King, and I went to go pick him up to, go to the gym or whatever we're gonna work out. And I was like, so you working now? He was like, yeah, I'm working. And I was like, where you working at? He was like, Burger King. I was like, cool. How much they pay? Obviously minimum wage. I was like, are you happy? He was like, And I noticed that there was a little bit of content with inside him. Like, if he allowed to, he would spend a good amount of time at this job. And I was like, so do you plan on staying there? He was like, no. But they all say no in the beginning. Nobody plans on becoming a McManager or a Burger King. It just happens and you get content. So I was like, okay, so you make about $240 a week. He worked 30 hours a week. $8 an hour. So I was like, 240 hours, $240 a week. That's $480 every 2 weeks. He was like, okay, that's cool. I was like, that's not really cool. So I pulled up my phone and I showed him that I just basically made his 2 weeks pay in a single day. And he was like, what? And I'm not saying this to downplay anybody that works at any type of minimum wage job, but I was like, bruh, it's okay to have a job like this. I'm very proud of you for having this job, but you have to want more. If you get stuck in this job and you get content with this job, then you will be here forever. You'll be like that person, because everybody that works this $8 an hour job has this one person there that has been working there for 10 years and they know everything about the job, and they come in there and they leave with the exact same expression. Please, guys, do not be that person. So now that we have that little bit of an epilogue, I taught him about, having your jobs, the job security, the money ethics, and basically getting this shit together. Hopefully in this story, you guys can get something from it too. So starting off in 2011, I was completely poor. Like, I had nothing to my name. I was staying with a friend, and he was staying in not even a one bedroom, a studio budget suite. And this is basically how it went. You walked inside, and here was his bed on the far corner. In front of the bed was where I laid, which was right by the doorway. His cousin laid on the opposite side, and his cousin's girlfriend laid right there, and him and his girl laid in the bed. So it was 5 people to one studio. There were times where I actually had to go rob stores for toilet paper. We were that poor, and we weren't really getting anything together. So of course we were all looking for jobs for the people that didn't have jobs. Other than that, we was just hustling our way, getting our way to get some money, just doing what we got to do, just out in them streets running it. I wound up or McDonald's Day winds up coming around, and for people that don't know, or people that aren't in the United States, I guess McDonald's has a national hiring day. I don't remember the exact month, but I know it was either January, February, March, April, or May. It was one of those. It was either, actually it had to be either March, April, May. It had to be one of those months. But they had a national hiring day, and I come dressed to impress, I come styling and profiling, and I wound up getting the job. Now, prior to that, I was trying my hardest to get a job. I even applied for Arby's. Who the fuck works at Arby's? No one does. Nobody eats at Arby's, and especially niggas. Niggas don't eat or work at Arby's, but I even applied. That's how bad I needed a job. I had nothing to my name. So I wound up getting the job at McDonald's and meeting some really awesome people. And it started to become, one of those places where I would go to, not only to, get out of the house, because, there's 4 people and 2 of them go out with each other, so it's a lot of fucking going on, but just as a way to set my goal. My goal was to ultimately get my own place, and while I did want to help them out, at the end of the day, I can't be sleeping on the floor, and I had to wake up because somebody had to leave. Like, literally, that's how close I am to the door. That's ridiculous. The starting pay was $8.25. Fortunately, at that time, minimum wage was $7.25 for Nevada, but I got paid $1 more because I was on the trip. Plot twist that I didn't, everybody was pretty much paying $8.25 at that time. It was basically going up. So I got paid that extra $1, and I want to say within the month of me having my job, I moved into my own place. Now, I moved into the same budget suite, which is about $179 a week. Actually, I got my calculator out. Let me pull that calculator. I think it's $716 a month. So 179 times 4 is $716 a month. At 825, 280, 480, 480 plus 480 is 960, I think. I'm probably wrong about that. So 480 plus 480 is, oh, 960. Sweet. So 960 minus 716. All right, now since I have that done, oh, I put 760, 480. Hold on, let me put that. 960 minus 716. Okay, so after paying my bill at the budget suites, which is, you know, $716 a month, I would have $244 to my name. Now, keep in mind, this was weekly, so I had to pay 300 and whatever a week, literally out of my paycheck. So I would have $244 a month to work with, not to mention that I had to get body wash, you know, I had to get, you know, food, and very seriously, the main reason why I even enjoyed going to work is because I didn't have to pay for food. When you have your lunch break or whatever, they would give you food. So it was pretty freaking terrible, and still at this time I was poor, but hey, I was happy. I had my own place. I had, you know, somewhere where I can go home, you know, go to sleep. I had my own bed. I was okay with that. I was very content, which was not the best thing to be. So I'm working my ass off at McDonald's, and I move from the fries to the register. Not just the register, and normally, you know, the people, once you get at register, you kind of just stop. But I'm like, you know what? I want it all. And they actually had a contest or a competition every day who would sell the most apple pies. And I was a master at selling apple pies. I mean, seriously, guys, have you guys seen my binder updates? That's not even a portion of how I can sell to somebody. I'm telling you, I can sell raid to a roach. I can sell wings to a coat. I can sell or sleeves to a coat. I can sell wings to a boat. I can sell condoms to monks. I can sell anything. And trust me, I was good at selling apple pies. There was actually a point in time where I sold 20 apple pies to one person. I'm legendary like that, man. I'm telling you, legendary. And they saw so much potential in me that they decided to put me in other spots for me to learn. So I learned what is called the McCafe, which is actually crazy. A lot of everybody that I worked with, literally, I was the only black person who was Hispanic, and they used to call me Marcos. I actually changed my name to Jose de la Cafe because I was the best at making everything you needed. I'm talking about you want coffee? How you want your coffee, bro? I got you. You need hot chocolate? I got you. You need frappes? Anything. Literally, I made it textbook so well, and I was really good at what I did because it was something for me to do. I treated it like it was a sport, and I wanted to be the best at it. Soon enough, I moved back towards the grill. I learned how to make every sandwich, and I did it to perfection, you know, doing my thing. And then I moved to basically working at the janitorial work. Basically, I learned how to do all that because why not? It was a point in time where I was so good at my job, the store manager pulled me to the side. She was like, Marcos, I love her. She's just a sweet, nice little lady. But she was like, Marcos, how do you want to be a crew trainer? And I was like, okay. And that's when we started to go through the process of me being a crew trainer. I already knew everything and mastered it extremely well. She was basically like, all you have to do is take the test. I already knew how to do everything. And actually, before we even get into this, for the people that have never worked at McDonald's, you guys know that one person just standing there, like when you see the order taken, you see one person standing there by the food. That's probably one of the hardest jobs out there because you got to get a whole bunch of stuff on the order correct, put everything in the appropriate bag, and then in my store, we actually had to make the, you know, all of the specialty drinks and all that other stuff. There was no drive-through, but normally those people have to run that too, so that's a pretty hard job. I just want to get you guys out there. That's harder than register. Register, I could just, okay, what you need? While I'm doing other things like doing the fries, okay, what you need? All right, cool. Literally, that's easy as hell. It's that person you gotta watch out for. That person will make sure your food either get fucked up or, you know, you'll get your food on time. So I'm going through all of the process and everything. I pass all of the tests and I become a crew trainer. So basically, it's when you start off as a crew member or you become a crew trainer, which trains the crew members And on top of that, you get a raise. So I was excited about my raise. I was like, all right, cool. I might be able to get out of this, lame zone right now. I'm only making $244. This raise is gonna be legit. And I already know the managers love me. I won Employee of the Month my first month there, and then a couple of months subsequent. I actually won so many Employees of the Month. Manager had to pull me to the side, was like, look, Marcos, you're Employee of the Month, but we can't give it to you because we've given it to you every single time, so we got to give it to other people, or but I was literally killing it that bad. So I get my check, the check that I'm supposed to have a raise with, and I'm fucking excited. I'm like, yes, I'm finally about to get an Xbox 360. I'm about to, be able to treat myself to something nice because your boy still had an Xbox, not an Xbox 360, an Xbox that he was playing on. I opened the check, and instead of the $825, it says $829. Now, it took me about an hour to register because I'm opening the check. I'm like, cool, that's my check. Go to the bank, cash it, pay rent, buy whatever I can buy. Go to the dollar store or whatever, get ramen noodles and all that other stuff. And I'm like, cool. And then I sit down and look at my check. I'm like, it's $829. I learned the entire McDonald's. I could damn near be a manager. And she gave me a 4-cent raise. 4 cents. 4 cents. And so let me do the math again. I was doing the math at that time. I think it's 0.4. I think it's 0.04 actually. So 0.04 times 30 equals, I get $1 extra. Yeah, it's 0.0. I get $1 extra, $1.2 extra every single time I, work. Literally, for every week, I got $1 extra. You multiply that times 4. I got $4 extra every paycheck. Let's just say $5 extra every paycheck. You multiply that times 12, so 5 times 12 is 60. I got $60 a year extra for learning everything in the restaurant and having to take my time off to train all of the new people. And I'm like, wow, that's, I'm still excited because it's like, it sucks, but it's like, or, because I have a job at my own place, but it's like, that's not, like, I'm not going to be able to get an Xbox anytime soon. I'm going to have to wait a couple of years to get an Xbox off this raise. So I approach my store manager and I'm like, hey, is there like some type of mistake or anything? I got a 4-cent raise. And I swear, I love this manager, but I hate her at the same time because she was so happy. She was like, yes, Marcos, did you get it? You got it? Oh, you got 4 cents. That is so awesome. And she was like, literally, I swear, if you want to picture her as anything, picture her as a female Krusty Krab, all right? Or female, whatever he calls himself. She pulls me to the side. She was like, between me and you, that's the biggest raise I've given. Now, think about it. This same manager started off as a crew member herself. And she became a manager. She's been working there for 30 years. She is a manager. She is the store manager working there for 30 years. And she told me that is the highest raise she's ever given a single person. Think about that. Think about that, guys. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, think about that. Sit down and think. In her 30 years, 4 cents was the highest. And she was so excited. She was telling me how, like, throughout the whole time, how I was the best employee she's ever had and all this other stuff. And that's what she constituted. But I'm happy. I'm happy with the accolades. Literally, I'm just excited off the accolades. People hating because I get to, basically I come in and I do whatever I want. I'm like, hey, I don't want to work on register today. I want to work back there. They're like, cool. As long as it's not like some super ridiculous rush and they need me because I have the fastest hands, I puts it down, then, cool. Do whatever you want. Around that time, I figure out that I'm having a kid. And I'm like excited. And at the same time, I'm like, how the hell am I gonna be able to provide for a kid and my child's mother if I can barely provide for myself? And I'm like, well, I got kicked out right out of high school, so I didn't have any time to go to college, so I couldn't get a better job. This was probably the best job that I could have gotten. Now, granted, I could look for other jobs, but I kind of don't have any time between work and not work, sleep, and I mean, I guess I got to go see her. I either not have a girl and find another job, which possibly would pay more depending on my qualifications, which high school graduate isn't really a great qualification. So I'm like, this is going to be pretty interesting. Fortunately, at that time, my wife's mother moved into, or my girlfriend's mother, my baby's mother's mother, moved into an apartment, and she needed help with her rent. Now, she was a manager at McDonald's, and she needed help with rent, which, if you guys think about it, just shows you how little these companies will pay you. If you're a manager, you should be able to provide a little more for yourself. I'm like, cool. I can kill two birds with one stone. I can move in. I can be with my girl. I can support my kid, and I have to pay less rent. I'm like, this is the best idea ever. How come the TheCaliEffect didn't think of this sooner? So I wind up moving with her, and I think the rent was $400 a month, which is still a little bit on the expensive side, but think, instead of $244 that I have, instead of that $244, I get that plus $316. I get $560 to use a month. Oh, I am in there. So I wound up moving in with her, $560. Unfortunately, instead of actually like putting it away, I would give it to my baby's mother, and she had less money skills than me since, you know, she's never been on her own, and she would spend it on food. We would literally help the family out and spend it on food and our food and diapers, you know, just to prepare. So literally, I had less money by moving in. We were at a point where we needed money for food, but the money that we were trying to save was for the kid, so I had less. But if hypothetically we would have went the other way around and she moved in with me, then that would have been another mouth to feed, which means I wouldn't have had any money. So it was really crazy about that time that I was making more money but actually making less money. And Amber's mother, my wife's mother at the time, was psychotic. She is just batshit crazy. And I don't mean it in the worst way, but she's fucking crazy. She has, well, she's a woman, so all women are crazy, but she has these periods where she just flips out on people. And one day she flipped out on me. This isn't the first time she flipped out on me. One day I'm just minding my own business. She flips out on me. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm not coming back. I got up and I left. And that's when, at the time, I was bouncing in between house to house. Keep in mind, I still have a job, and I'm basically in the exact same situation as I was before, bouncing around from house to house with the job. Not necessarily making enough money to sustain myself, and still at the same time not making enough money to support my family. So I wound up transferring McDonald's to a different McDonald's because I heard that this McDonald's would actually pay you more. And when I got transferred, it was around the time that I was due for a raise. She gave me a 70-cent raise. And that put me at, I think, $8.79, which is better, or $8.97, something like that. I never broke the half mark. She gave me a pretty big raise because she knew what she was getting from me inside of a worker. She knew that when she called the other store manager told her everything I did. She was like, you should probably be the manager, but here's a raise. So when I switched from that McDonald's to this McDonald's, the employees really did not like me. And this McDonald's, the McDonald's before I worked on was a strip. They didn't have a drive-thru. This McDonald's was the most busiest McDonald's outside of that other McDonald's, but it was busy for a whole different reason. It was busy because the drive-thru, where this McDonald's was particularly located, it was right off of a freeway. So there will be times where it gets backed up, like insanely backed up. And seeing that I was new to the drive-thru, it was very hard for me to work the drive-thru, you know, because they literally just stuck me in there and was like, whatever, go do it. And it came to the realization that I struggled with the drive-thru operations because, first of all, in the first part of the drive-thru, the first portion, you don't move anymore. I'm so used to moving and doing other things and multitasking, I would fall asleep literally in that place because all I have to do is punch in orders. And workers would often ridicule me because I'm not fast enough. They would crack snarky ass comments and make other stuff. It was just horrible. I just didn't want to be there. At that time, I realized that the pay really wasn't worth it on top of that, because after I moved from that spot in the drive-thru to everyone else and returned back to normal and worked faster than everybody else and basically showed them up, I realized that even at $9 an hour, which is close to what I was getting paid, I still wasn't making enough to support my family. So I really started to lose interest in the job because the pay just wasn't worth it. I wasn't making enough money. That's just literally the common sense. So at $9 an hour, we can actually go 9 times. I actually worked less hours. I got 25 hours there. So I made $225 a week. So times 2. That's $450, so I made $900. With 5 less hours, I actually made less money working there than anywhere else. So I made $900 a month before taxes and all that other stuff. But we're just gonna say $900. And it wasn't worth it for the amount of effort that I had to put into it. So I started losing my effort. And the new manager, she was just weird. Like all of them, they were really weird. Like I with the other McDonald's, I had a sense of family. Like I knew who I can go to. I knew who I can turn to. I needed help. I knew if something needed to be done, I knew I can, trust that person. I knew that if I got a problem with somebody, I can scream at. Literally, at the first McDonald's, if we got screamed at, we screamed at each other, we did all this, we had problems, but at the end of the day, we were like, okay, whatever. We had like 600 people in an hour on the strip at 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's completely understandable. We're gonna, and on top of that, that was the time where the system went down, so we had to take order by hand. This McDonald's, nobody, it was just a whole bunch of people working together. So it kind of threw me off because that was my first experience with a whole bunch of people just working, as opposed to more of a family type environment, quote unquote family, where you guys can do all that. A dysfunctional environment. So I wound up getting fired from my job. And it's mainly because I didn't show up when I was supposed to. I just didn't show up. I would fall asleep during shifts because it was so damn slow. They'll have like 50 people in line or 50 people through the drive-thru and like 20 people. And it was like so slow that I would just fall asleep. Like I couldn't move any. Oh, that was the next thing. I couldn't move out of any station. Like I couldn't work the register and then do the coffees and then, do the running and then make orders. Like I couldn't do that. So they literally was like, oh no, you have to stay on register all day. I'm gonna fall asleep. That's fucking boring. So I wound up getting fired from that. And then after that, I realized that more importantly, even before, me being fired, my hours were getting cut. And I realized that I was expendable. I realized that they didn't necessarily care about my skill that I've gained into, by working McDonald's. They didn't care that I did everything that they didn't even know how to do, or some things that, they didn't even ask of and I went above and beyond. They didn't care. My hard work into the company meant nothing, which is a big reason why I started to fall asleep and decline, and biggest reason why I got fired. But then me getting fired was like the pivotal tipping point of me realizing that. And I was like, it's just a terrible place. This isn't, not only is this somewhere I can't, feed my family or I can't live off of, it's a place that doesn't give a shit about you and realizes that you're indispensable. And once they have the opportunity to get it cheaper, or once they have an opportunity to get a better replacement, they will without hesitation. I live in Nevada. Nevada is a state where they can fire you just because. Like, they don't have to have a reason. Fortunately, McDonald's, they kind of have something against that. But still, it's not much against that. For when they want to fire you, they will fire you. So, in conclusion, I'm not here to talk about, oh, this job is supposed to be a teenage job. Because newsflash, seriously, I am trying to find that mythical fairy that has that parent. Well, I'm trying to find that mythical fairy that has that parent where I lived or where I grew up with that didn't have to pay, rent, not mortgage, rent, and or that person that didn't have a difficult time, or that person that just couldn't go to college or couldn't get a better education and get a better job. I'm still trying to find that teenager that works at McDonald's to pay for his gas money that his mother and father bought him. That's not the America we live in. So I don't even want to hear that about, McDonald's supposed to be that job. The McDonald's or any job out there is most of the time a means for someone to live. And not every single time it's their necessarily their fault that they're in that position. Sometimes it's just shitty parents, other times it's no parents, other times, things can happen. And I'm not here to argue what the minimum wage should be. What I'm here is just to tell you guys my story. And I realized at a very early age that McDonald's was probably the worst job of all time because you worked so much and you didn't get anything. I wound up getting another job, but I approached this one different. I found a hustle. I found something for me to do to make an additional income, and that was Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. I really hope you guys, literally, seriously, pick up something else. If you work that minimum wage job, find something else to make money. Anything. Literally, you gotta find something else. Find a hobby that you like that can get you money, or find something to get money, or even better, if you have the means, get a better job, because McDonald's is not worth it, or any job like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know that this was kind of like I want to say a disappointing, not necessarily disappointing, but this was kind of like a sad ending of a story. But look at me now, guys. I make enough money to support my family, and I have more kids and a bigger house, or a bigger place to live in. And on top of that, we're trying to move into a bigger house. And even more importantly, we want to actually be able to kick our kids to the side and be like, hey, you need to get that job at McDonald's because you're going to pay for your gas money for your car. That's where we want to be. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy, guys. I'll catch you next week, or tomorrow, wherever.